Amazing. Lovely. So welcome everybody to Chesterley Street for this meeting of the North East Strategic Authority Cabinet. Thank you very much to the Cricket Club for hosting us and to Andrew for having us in County Durham. It's great to be here and it's great to see a match taking place outside. As far as I'm aware, at the moment we've got Durham chasing Yorkshire. So hopefully by the time we finish this meeting, Durham will be winning. I'm going to start with apologies for absence. So we've had apologies from Colin Ferguson, but Mark Mitchell's here as a substitute. We've had apologies from Helen Patterson, but we've got Phil Hunter here. Martin Brooks isn't able to attend, and Susan Dungworth isn't, but Claire Penny-Evans is here as a substitute as well. So welcome to everybody. Does anybody have any declarations of interest today? Excellent. That's nice and simple. Item 3 is announcements and opening remarks from me. I'm going to take the opportunity at the opening of this meeting to just pay tribute and remember a couple of people that we've lost in the last month. So first of all, Anne Widdicombe, incredibly tragic circumstances, really horrific news just seem to keep rolling. And it is a reminder that sometimes what we do is dangerous, and it is an incredibly sad set of circumstances that has seen Anne has seen Anne's death, and a reminder, as I said, that politics is divisive and that can be dangerous. And what I really hope is that people will look at a cabinet like ours with really diverse views and see that for the sake of the North East we come together and there is no conflict, and it doesn't need to be like that. So I wanted to mention that at the top of the meeting, because this has happened now more times than ever it should. It should never have been a thing, and yet here we are having to remember and pay tribute to another politician. In a totally different set of circumstances in the last 24 hours, we have heard of the death of Kevin Keegan, an absolute regional treasure, someone who brought hope and optimism to our region, someone who's loved, not just in Newcastle, where he was obviously manager, but I think right across the region and right across the country. And somebody who I think all of us have got memories of, either growing up or watching him play or watching him be a manager and a leader, someone who threw himself into the region. So again, a real tribute to Kevin Keegan, who we lost yesterday. It is, though, I think, it's an exciting time. Yesterday we saw a new Prime Minister walk into Downing Street in Andy Burnham, and a Prime Minister who has been at the heart of regional leadership, who has been a mayor, somebody going in with a track record, who I know will want to change the way the country's run. He's already said that very clearly. And for us, what that means in the North East is more power out of Whitehall, out of Westminster, more attention for us, more decision-making coming to us so that we can work with the people of this region, give them more of a say, take back control and make sure that this country is run once and for all in the interests of the people that live here. This has been the most over-centralised country for far too long, and we represent collectively the furthest English region away from Westminster, and people tell us all the time that they feel the impact of that they haven't had the investment that they deserve, that they haven't had the attention that they deserve, and it really is time for that to change. I'm desperate to see the Prime Minister hit the ground running. I think he comes with really high expectations, and I'm quite sure he'll feel that, and he certainly comes with high expectations from the North East. I hope we'll be able to welcome him here soon and see exactly what he's going to do. It's been good to see immediate action on the cost of living, and one of the things that's being talked about that I have called for is for bus fares to be reduced to £2 as they were previously. I think that will make a massive difference to the people of our region and beyond. And, I think as an illustration of how London-centric and at times elitist this country can be, I've heard over the last couple of days a number of people, commentators, saying things along the lines of, he's talking about doing something with the buses, but what about the real policy? I just think that is so backwards when it comes to what really affects people day to day. Certainly in this region, and I know elsewhere across the country, the cost of living is the single biggest thing that is worrying people. And we know that more people use the bus than any other form of public transport put together. And so an intervention on buses that is about the cost of living, I think, if you don't think that's real policy, then you need to take a step back and have a think about what it is you expect from leadership in this country. So let's hope that we see all of that coming. On buses, We are out with our bus consultation at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's flying. As of about 15 minutes ago, the up-to-date figure for the number of people who've taken part of that is 3,347. So that's absolutely brilliant, with just over a week of the consultation being open. That's going to run for 12 weeks, and we want this to be the biggest conversation about buses we've ever had. We know that the system as it currently is isn't working for people. There is too much profit going into the hands of private businesses. It's not being run in the interests of people. There are too many parts of our region that simply don't have a bus. The routes are being cancelled. The buses are not reliable, and people just can't rely on a bus to get them to where they need to be in the way that they should be able to. And that's what we're trying to change here. So what we've said is, if we bring them under public control, that will mean no bus cuts for a decade. But we're giving everyone their say, because that's absolutely what we should be doing. People tell us their experiences of the bus and what it is that they want to see. So as well as that consultation being online, we've got a series of in-person events. I'll be at a couple of them, but I'm at one on Thursday this week. Hopefully people will come and talk to us about their experience of the bus and what it is that they want to see. And that'll be continuing over the rest of the summer. We had an amazing night last week as we launched our Small Venues Fund. Chris and I were in Sunderland at the Independent, which is a fantastic small venue in the city of Sunderland, listening to incredible local acts, comedians, poets, musicians. It was just absolutely brilliant, and a real buzz in the room as we launched £2.2 million to help people who run those small venues, so that those who need their first chance of an audience can get that audience, because too many of those small venues are struggling. I think 54% of them told us that they either didn't make a profit in 2025 or were considering closing, and we've seen too many of those venues close. They're the lifeblood of our communities. We've got to support them, got to support that hospitality industry. I'm hoping to see more action on that from the Prime Minister as well. But in the meantime, £2.2 million to support small venues will really help. And the reception to that has been so good, because we've worked with the sector to create this fund in the way that they want to see it. The applications for that open in the autumn, and hopefully it can start to make an impact really soon. And then finally, a quick plug for our Opportunity Fund. We're out at the moment with grants which are designed to support the community and voluntary sector in our local communities to help people across the North East with the cost of living crisis. So direct interventions on the cost of living crisis. And that is open at the moment. We're working with Community Foundation and Point North on it. So all really positive stuff there. Look, I think it's a great time to be in the North East. I think it's a great time for us to be leading the region, and I now hope that we'll start to see that power and that money and that attention flow to where it deserves to be, because this is the best place in the world, but it is our job collectively to make it even better. I don't know whether anybody has any questions or comments or anything they want to say at this point. Lovely. Henry, do you have any remarks today?
Not yet.
Excellent. I'll go on to item 4 then, which is the minutes of the previous meeting. Can I just check whether everybody's happy with the minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on the 9th of June 2026? Yep. Great, lovely, thank you. Item 5 is delivering on the Mayor's local transport plan. So this is, again, really positive. We're making it safer to get around the region. That's what this money's about. £18.58 million of transport, of capital investment. And that covers everything from Blythe to St Mary's cycle scheme, active travel links in Sunderland City Centre, the Bowes railway path maintenance in County Durham, safer school travel in Newcastle, North Tyneside and South Tyneside. And so there really is something happening right across all parts of the region. We're going to reopen part of the Bowes Railway Path, which is an absolutely beautiful walking route, and it's really well loved. And that'll mean people will no longer have to take a big mile diversion to be able to enjoy that pathway. So I'm going to hand over to Councillor Mark Mitchell to take us through the report, but it's all positive stuff here in this transport plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So this report continues delivery of the Mayor's local transport plan, turning our long-term ambition into practical improvements that people will see and use every day. You've already heard the Mayor talk about the 18.5 million of investment. And just to give a little more detail on that, that's 2.25 million on safer journeys to school schemes in Newcastle, North Tyneside and South Tyneside, impacting 16 schools and 1 college. And this is exactly the kind of thing that has a direct impact in our communities. We're all counsellors, and safe journeys to school are one of the key things that actually get people out of cars and onto different forms of transport. The investment of 11.7 million in the Seafront Cycle Scheme for the A193 in Northumberland will help improve the route there. And we then have, as was mentioned, 4.5 million for the St Peter's active travel links in Sunderland. And finally, as the Mayor has mentioned, the Bowes Railway path. So these schemes will deliver real benefits for residents. Collectively, these projects will deliver 4.92 miles of safe and improved travel routes, 21 new crossings and 19 upgraded crossings, creating safer and more accessible journeys across the North East.
Fab, thank you very much. I think that safety theme is so very important. We talk an awful lot about safety for women and girls on public transport, but this is about getting children to school safely, and that is something that we cannot underestimate. Every child deserves the right to be able to walk or cycle or get to school as safely as possible, and this money enables a lot of that. Any questions or comments? Yes, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. No, I think this is quite welcome in the area of Sunderland city centre. Anything to improve connectivity between the city centre, the Stadium of Light area, St Peter's Metro. Yeah, that's that's really good to see. So yeah, thanks for the update on that, Councillor Mitchell. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I also welcome the report and the investment, including in North Tyneside, where it will improve 5 schools and a college and really improve the safety, which of course we know is all important. So just thank you, and it will make those improvements across the whole region. Thanks.
Paul?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Like my colleagues, I'd just like to thank Mark for his report, and also the support which will see cycleways to several schools in South Tyneside, and that's really important. We want to encourage people for healthy lifestyles to get out on the cycling and walking, so we appreciate the support of the 0.75 million. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Andrew?
Yeah, it's just to point out around the room that Durham's not been forgotten about. We had our own CRSTS grants, and obviously have no issues with this paper for that reason.
Fab, any other comments? In which case, can we agree the recommendations? Fab, thank you very much. So item 6 is accelerating the delivery of new homes in the North East. And this is a really important paper for us. Look, we are really proud of this region. We want to shout up for it. We want to get more investment into the region. We want to get more attention, more decision making. But we also have to be really honest about the challenges. And one of the challenges that we have in this region is a housing crisis. We've got around 50,000 people, and I think some would tell us it's more than that, on our social housing waiting list at the moment, who just haven't got anywhere to go. And so this plan for homes is going to help us with that. It's going to build more than 15,000 social and affordable homes in the next decade, as well as retrofitting homes to bring down the cost of energy bills, to support people with the cost of living crisis as well. And for the first time, and this is really important, this is the region working together to deliver on our housing goals. Coming together not just as 7 local authorities, but as one region, to say that this is something that affects all of us, that our residents don't see those borders when they're looking for a safe and secure and a good place to live. I'm going to hand over to Councillor Nick Allen to present the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is about delivery at a time where the North East faces a significant housing challenge. Too many people are struggling to access good quality and affordable homes, while too many sites that could provide those homes remain stalled by viability and infrastructure barriers. If we are serious about growing our economy, reducing inequality and creating thriving communities, we must increase the pace and the scale of housing delivery. This report lays out the pathway. It brings together a package of investment and activity through the Plan for Homes, the £143 million National Housing Delivery Fund, Projects Delivery Unit with Homes England, the opportunities of the £1.1 billion Social and Affordable Homes Programme, and our £5.3 million Homeless Prevention Programme. The Plan for Homes provides the vision and direction. It gives us regional framework focused on increasing housing supply, improving affordability and quality, and creating sustainable places where people can succeed. Importantly, we now have the resources to turn that vision into action. Through the National Housing Delivery Fund, we can unlock sites that would otherwise not be developed, addressing the infrastructure, remediation and viability challenges which hold them back. In doing so, we expect to unlock 4,600 homes by 2030. Alongside this, we'll establish a new major projects delivery unit with Homes England that will provide dedicated skills, expertise and resource to drive forward the strategic projects. We will work alongside our local authorities and housing providers to maximise investment in new social and affordable homes, ensuring more residents have access to the homes they need. But housing obviously is not just about building homes, it's about supporting people and communities. Through our North East Housing Partnership, we are collaborating to deliver more. Our homeless prevention programme will strengthen regional working and support prevention to help vulnerable residents before they reach that crisis point. By working together across local government through the Strategic Place Partnership with Homes England, with housing providers and the development sector, we are creating a genuinely joined up approach to delivery. This is a major opportunity for the North East, and by approving this report, we can move forward decisively from strategy to action, unlock investment, accelerate delivery and, more importantly, help more people access the safe, affordable and high quality homes that they need and deserve. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And I think this is, as I said, a really positive move. You can hear there the depth of the collaboration that's required to deliver something of this scale. What I would say, though, and I think this is really important, and kind of on behalf of the North East and a message to central government, at this time when we are talking about more devolution to the regions, this is extraordinarily complicated. It has been extraordinarily complicated to pull together this package in order to deliver more housing across the region. And that's because of the layers of responsibility, it's because of the layers of different funding, it's because of all of the different things that come together to make up packages like this, and it needs to be simplified. If we are to succeed and we are to move at pace, we have to simplify this. That's what the people of this region need. I'd be very surprised if there isn't a parallel meeting going on in Liverpool or Manchester or North Yorkshire or wherever else saying that this needs to be simplified. But it's critical that we do this. So I'm really pleased that we're doing this today. It's a brilliant package. It'll make a massive difference. We're going to get on and we are going to deliver. Nick's absolutely right. It is about delivery. But this needs to be devolved properly and simplified properly for us to succeed in the long run. Any questions or comments on the report? Yes, Glenn.
Thank you. I think we'd probably disagree with the figure, and there is some political differences there. But
you mean the figure required?
Quite. However, I would just congratulate all the officers in the different councils that have worked together so that we are not feeling that houses from, say, South Tyneside are being pushed into Northumberland and vice versa and so on. So that's very important. I'm glad that work's taken place. I think we completely agree, though, on the issue around affordable rural housing. And I'm glad that we've looked at this paper carefully, because with the right amount of funding, we can unlock sites that we can't currently. And that has got to be something that we all push for. I dare say the same problem might occur in Durham, I don't know. But certainly in Northumberland is a very, very major issue. So working together like we are with this, I think is good news.
Fab, thank you. We'll come to Paul and then Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. No, I think this is really good to see.
And then Paul.
All right, beg your pardon. All right, sorry. It's too excited. Quick off the draw. So no, I think it's really good to hear that these are working within the MDZ framework that's already there, so it's not going to be a separate siloed project. And the densification fund as well is good, as in Sunderland we have a lot of regeneration going on. We don't have any issues with stalled projects per se at the moment, but if there are issues when, kind of building firms have, kind of supply chain issues, and it's a good thing to kickstart that back up. And it's encouraging to see the, helping to unlock brownfield sites as well, which is quite a key thing, especially in Sunderland being a very urban area. We don't have an unlimited amount of land, so I think the decontamination of brownfield sites is definitely a way forward to keep on with the housing targets. So it's good to see.
Great, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just reiterate Councillor Sanderson's comments there. I'm not convinced the numbers are required. We'll park that one for now. You talk about simplicity to our approach. One of the things I would say on behalf of our developers, some of the biggest challenges they've got are remediation costs and viability of sites. So if we want to bring them sites forward, the best way we can support that is from that point of view. So we can help them to make these developments more viable, to help them to bring them forward to meet the numbers that we're pushing on, and then those numbers are increasing at each opportunity with the government. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, I think we all welcome some money, 143 million. All local authorities around this room are under pressure to deliver more housing, especially more council housing. In Durham, we do have an active programme, shall we say, with three developments currently on site, many more in the pipeline, but we do need help. I think all members are keen to see faster progress with building of council houses again. We all are. I think, to be fair, today I think we've just released a letter to Minister of State for Housing, where we're covering exactly the issues that's been described around this room. So back to this, I think we are looking forward to seeing how this fund can help us in County Durham especially. And I'd like to request a meeting to discuss how this will work with my cabinet, if that's all right, to set out key areas and essentially the ones we want to take forward. So thank you.
Lovely. I think it was Karen and then Mark.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor. Just to say, I totally welcome this. It will significantly support acceleration of North Tyneside Affordable Homes programme in dealing with those difficult sites that are currently not viable. So really important. But I'm also delighted it's around tackling homelessness as well, which is a really important issue. And I was delighted to hear our new Prime Minister Andy Burnham make a commitment to eradicate homelessness, and I'm sure we'd all support that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to add my thanks to Nick and to you for bringing this paper forward. Housing is clearly an issue in Newcastle, and it was certainly mentioned more than in passing in the last elections. And I think, as you've said and other people have talked about, looking in particular to build more council and social housing, and also to address homelessness issues, which we're all facing, but particularly acute in some of our town and city centres, and deal with those in a way that is sensitive to people's needs and actually looks at how we get people permanent housing, I think is hugely important.
Thank you. Claire?
Hello. So thanks, Kim. Again, I welcome this paper. I think it's great to see the region so focused on delivering on such crucial things for the population. I think one of the things that it's worth just sort of acknowledging is that from a trade union perspective, when we talk to members across all sectors, what they tell us is that the cost of housing is one of the things that contributes most significantly to their financial precariousness. So when you couple that with we have a shortage of affordable housing in the region, and also we have some of the highest levels of low pay work, you get where we are with people struggling. So I think this is really welcome, and I'd also like to suggest in the appropriate forum that we do have a discussion that involves the trade unions in the region from two perspectives. One, we're a serious social partner partner and we understand economic growth strategies and actually what people who are working hard and still struggling to pay their bills, solutions they've got. And two, in terms of investment in infrastructure, which this is, hopefully this will create hundreds, if not thousands, of well-paid jobs in the region, which of course we understand is crucial to a growth strategy to grow our regional economy. So I think trade unions would be really keen to be involved in some conversations on that part of the agenda, Kim. Thanks very much.
Thank you, absolutely, and I think that makes perfect sense. And your point about jobs is absolutely critical. In order to deliver something of this scale, we are going to have to both upskill and create jobs across the region, and that's really good for young people growing up here, because we know that currently courses for in construction skills are oversubscribed all of the time, and we're working through our skills work to rectify that, because the scale of the opportunity for young people is really huge. And I don't know about anyone else, but I grew up in a council house. I think it's great to see the Minister return, who is as passionate as we are about delivering council houses, particularly at a time when we've got so many people on that social housing waiting list, a commitment to ending rough sleeping, and a commitment in the region to homelessness as well. And I think in order for us to deliver that, some really good points have been made around the table here. You know, absolutely focusing on rural housing, the lack of rural housing, the unavailability of affordable and social rural housing is critical, and that will be most felt in our region, in Northumberland and County Durham, but also we mustn't forget in Gateshead as well, which has a really significant rural area there. And Paul's point about remediation and viability, you know, this absolutely addresses addresses those issues, that in order for us to bring forward those sites, they've got to be remediated. We've had great success in this region in spending Brownfield Housing Fund. There's particularly a site, you know, I always mention in Hendon, you know, it's a derelict site that had been there since 1997, remediated, and now social housing start going up there. But we've got to continue at pace, and we can't drag our feet because this need is too great. So thank you everybody for your contributions there. Can I ask if we're happy to agree the recommendations in the report? Agreed. Excellent, thank you very much. Item 7 is the 2025-2026 outturn and 26-27 budget reporting update. And for this, I'm going to hand over to Mag Scott to take us through the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This report provides Cabinet with 3 main updates. The provisional outturn position for 25-26, with the draft year-end accounts now subject to audit. The Treasury Management outturn for 25-26, and an update on funding and budget reporting arrangements for 26-27. Turning to 25-26 first, the overall message is that the authority has operated within its approved financial framework and ended the year in a strong financial position. The budget for 25-26 anticipated a net surplus of 1.4 million. We are reporting a provisional outturn position of a surplus of 20.3 million. The principal reason for the improved position is interest income of 22 million, which is 15 million above budget, reflecting both strong market returns and higher than budgeted cash balances during the year. Given that surplus income is typically a non-recurring source of funding, Cabinet's being asked to approve today a transfer of 19 million into a new interest reserve, as previously discussed with Cabinet, and a transfer of 1 million into the existing pension reserve. The interest reserve will ensure one-off gains are not built into base budgets. It will create a flexible funding source for future investment priorities and help to manage future financial risks and opportunities. The pension reserve is consistent with the approved budget strategy and will support employer pension contributions arising from the 2025 pension fund valuation and provide us with stability over the 2026 to 2029 period. The report also summarises delivery of the MSA's revenue and capital programmes during 25-26. Total expenditure across all programmes was 524 million against a budget of 532 million. This is a variance of around 1.4% of total programme spend. That variance reflects timing of expenditure rather than savings or loss of funding. The main areas of investment and variances are outlined in the paper. Appendix 3 contains Treasury Management Outturn Report. The key message for Cabinet to note from that is that the MSA complied fully with all Treasury management and prudential requirements during the 25-26 financial year. We continue to prioritise security, liquidity and risk management, with investment returns considered only after those core priorities have been met. Turning now to a short update on 26-27 funding. The final integrated settlement allocation has now been confirmed at £419 million. That's £5 million higher than the indicative allocation used when the budget was approved by Cabinet earlier in the year. The authorities also received mayoral capacity funding of £2.3 million, compared with the £1.5 million assumed in the budget, and an additional £2.5 million of retrofit transition funding to support future warm homes and retrofit delivery arrangements. Finally, the report sets out the planned financial reporting timetable for 26-27. Cabinet will continue to receive regular updates throughout the year covering the revenue budget, service delivery programme, treasury management, development of the medium-term financial plan and the 25-26 statement of accounts as those progress through audit to approval. This will ensure members retain oversight of financial performance, programme delivery, use of reserves, emerging risks and opportunities, and the MSA's overall financial sustainability. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. And you can hear from that report that we are in a strong financial position and strengthening, which is really fantastic news. And I just want to say a real thank you to Mags and to your team and to Karen, the Cabinet member, for making sure that this is the strength of the report that we're able to bring to Cabinet today. Any questions or comments? Oh, Glenn.
First one on 3.4, the retrofit transition funding. Is that something that we are passing through to the associate councils to deliver? If so, why are we talking about getting new posts to do that? So I'm not quite sure on what that means. And the second one is around the funding towards capital financing costs from tying tunnels, tolls. I've looked to see if I can understand that, and I can't see anything, so could I have that one explained as well?
Mark, did you want to come in and then we'll take them together?
Yes, thanks. Just on the interest income, I'm pleased to hear that it will be transferred to a reserve rather than disappearing into the income statement. Would you anticipate the same or similar levels going forward, or are we expecting over time that we might be drawing down some of our cash?
I don't know whether Mags or Henry, you want to take Glenn's questions.
I'm happy to say the
yes, thank
first
you.
question, Chair. Thank you, which is related to the retrofit funding mentioned in there, which is in effect funding to support the planning for a major retrofit programme in the region. So that is not funding directly to retrofit homes or buildings. It is about developing a cogent business case for the whole region in order to then unlock further government funding to do that.
Why can't the authorities that are involved do that?
I mean, the short answer to that is you can undo, and we're working very collaboratively in order to do that work. So the posts that are mentioned in here are about providing the right kind of coordinating functionality, so we can do that across the region rather than just. I thought I was being quite clear and clever in saying that, but essentially we need people to coordinate that work so that's done properly, and a whole region business case, because what history tells us and the market tells us is you need to do retrofit at scale if you're going to be able to bring in the private sector and the investment that you need in order to do that. So that's the rationale for that work.
Okay.
We're, as you know, Glenn, we're pushing government for more devolution of retrofit funding because if we want to help people bring their bills down, we want to get existing social housing stock back into action that's out of action, and we want to support people with warmer, better homes, then we should be doing that. These should not be national programmes. These should be local programmes designed to deliver alongside councils in the region. And so this is us getting ready for that, because we've had indication from the previous administration that is coming. I think this government will accelerate it, and we have got to be ready, because the second that money's in the door, I want it out, and making sure that we are making people's homes better, safer, warmer, and bringing the housing stock that's not in action at the moment back into action, and we're going to need all hands on deck for that, including the local authorities.
So I suppose, just on that question, coming back last time, last thing from me on this one, I suppose my concern is more that we're using money that we could be using to do the job in getting more posts when we already all have these kind of people working for us.
I mean, I can provide assurance, but to you and the Cabinet as a whole, that there is no circumstance in which we would be doing anything other than building the right business cases to be able to do that job. So we are not going to get further devolution of large-scale funding without having a good business case for it, and this is about making sure we're in the right place for that.
I can't remember your second question.
Town tunnels.
I'm sure it was. Go on, give us a reminder. You can remember, can't you, Henry?
Yeah, I can.
Go on.
Tell me if this is not answering your question, but our predecessor authority undertook significant borrowing in order to deliver the second Tyne tunnel. Yeah. And therefore, a substantial amount of the revenue that's raised by tolls through the Tyne tunnel is spent to repay the borrowing and the interest. That is due to be fully repaid in the late 2030s, 2037, I think. So at that point, that income from the tunnels clearly is income to us as a region as opposed to being used to service the debt.
Okay, maybe you could explain it to me afterwards or another time. I don't fully understand the capital cost that is against us on this and how we're planning to develop it and so on. It's not, I thought it was a good question. It's not
a great
question. But, I'm sure Mags can tell me about it another time.
It's a big PFI deal that none of us were around the table for, I think is probably the shorter answer to your question. And then Mark's question was for Mags to answer, I think.
Yeah. Interest income.
Yeah,
in
interest
the medium
income.
term.
Yeah. Depends on rates, I think.
Absolutely depends, of course, on interest rates. The other part of the equation to date has been the amount of cash that we are holding. Kim just talked there about prioritising delivery, which means that when we get the cash, we need to deliver quickly with it. So I think the ambition is that we aren't holding such high levels of cash, particularly as we are now geared up and well into delivery.
Karen, did you want to come in?
Indeed, sorry, it was just in response to Glenn's question on retrofit. Obviously, I was Cabinet Member for Home of Green Energy last year, and it was just to say that there is a Regional Warm Homes Task Force in operation, and it's working really well collaboratively with all relevant partners, including local authorities, to develop the strategy for the larger devolved retrofit funding that will hopefully come very soon. Thank you.
Lovely. Any other questions or comments? Are we happy to note the report and agree the recommendations? Excellent. Item 8 is the Code of Corporate Governance and Transport for the North appointments. So it's over to John for this one.
Thank you, Chair. The first part of this report recommends the adoption of a Code of Corporate Governance. The code is being prepared in accordance with guidance from Solace and SIPFA and sets out the arrangements that the authority has in place to ensure good governance and robust decision-making. And secondly, the report also proposes a number of appointments to Transport for the North, or TFN. Specifically, it recommends that Councillor Boren of Durham County Council is appointed to TFN Scrutiny Committee, with Councillor Cox of North Tyneside Council as a substitute. And also it recommends that Councillor Swinburne of Northumberland County Council is appointed to TFN's Governance Committee, and that Kevin Bell is appointed as the authority's business representative for TFN. That was it, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this report? Are you happy to agree the recommendations? Yeah. Fabulous. that concludes our meeting today, and you've got loads of time back. So our next meeting will be in September the 22nd. We're going to Gateshead, so that's exciting, and we're going to go to the Fed. I think we discussed it before the meeting, and I think quite a lot of us have got memories of the Fed growing up. I think it's transformed now, so we're all looking forward to meeting on the 22nd of September at the Fed in Gateshead. And in the meantime, have a really lovely summer. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.